So today we will be focusing on listening skills. Now you have gone through the first lecture, which is fundamentals of communication. Okay, how does a communication channel work? And today we are going to talk about listening skills. Now a lot of times we don't really see or hear people talking about listening skills. We mainly focus on how do you speak. But listening skills is actually one of the very important skills that helps you not only to become a better presenter, but also a better human being. Now let's look at the first slide for today. First of all, we need to understand the definition of listening. Now what is listening? Listening is the process of receiving, interpreting, and reacting to the message from the speaker. So when a person is speaking, there's three things that you need to do: receive, interpret, and react. So you see, react is a very important thing. You need to react to things. When your mom calls you, you need to react instead of keeping quiet. When your lecturer posts things on Facebook, posts things on Moodle, react by saying, I understand, okay? Sending emails. Now listening is taking in information. You're taking information from other sources while remaining non-judgmental and empathetic. Non-judgmental means when you are listening to a particular person speaking, don't jump to conclusions and say, oh, you're like this. Instead, listen, finish first, let the person finish, only then you start deciding. Alright? Now, acknowledging that the speaker and what he's saying is important. So when you're listening to somebody speaking to you, it's very important for you to listen and understand first instead of you don't really care. Alright? So that is the importance of listening. Now moving on. When we are listening, you have to reflect on these questions. Okay, we pose these questions to you, so please take some time to reflect and understand. Number one, does listening include understanding non-verbal cues or just verbal ones? Now, what is non-verbal cues? Non-verbal cues means this. These are non-verbal cues, your actions. And verbal cues means when I say things like, oh my God, ew, okay, these are not verbal cues. So listening doesn't involve only you looking at my actions, or you also listen to what I'm speaking at the same time. And second of all, how would you differentiate between listening and hearing? There's two things. One is hearing, one is listening. What are the differences? So in your tutorial questions, your lecturer will ask you to list these down. So it's good to take some time to just think and reflect on how would you view these two. Moving on, here's a short quiz. How much time do people spend listening? Like we said, there's two things between listening and hearing. A, 55%, B, 80%, C, 25%, or D, 48%. How much time do you really sit down and hear what people have to say? You know, listen to what I have to say. So the answer is 55%. Half of the time when somebody talks, only half of the time when they're actually listening. The other half of the time we're just letting blah, 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 blah. We're not processing. Alright? Now moving on. Next, what is the average speaking rate? Now right now when I'm speaking to you, how fast do I speak? A, B, C, D? Okay, take a quick guess. Okay, I'm going to show you the answer. 125 to 175 words per minute. Okay, so it's a relatively moderate speed. Okay, not too fast, not too slow. Alright, moving on. How many words do we listen per minute? We have 800 words, 350 words, 450 words, or 600 words. Take a quick guess. Okay, like Dora Explorer, the answer is C. Okay, 400 words per minute. Okay, we listen. Alright, so moving on. How much time, how much of what we hear is absorbed? Let's say your mom is nagging, or I'm talking right now, this entire 15-20 minute lecture. How much time, how much do you hear and it's absorbed? The answer will surprise you. I hope. I don't suppose it's surprising. 17 to 25%. Only 17 to 25% of what I'm speaking is absorbed. That is sad. Okay, so what does this show? These quizzes show that whatever that we are listening to, only a very small portion is being absorbed or is being heard. Then you ask me, what is the point of me even telling you? What is the point of me even talking or telling somebody about my stories? The important thing for this lecture is that we need to learn how to be good listeners. Alright? So you always say, oh, when I get a boyfriend, when I get a girlfriend, I want her to be a good listener. Or do you want a boyfriend who say, every time you say, I feel very sad, huh? Why? Why sad? Sad for what? You know, you don't want to have people like that, you know, jumping into conclusions. Alright? Now, these are the stages in listening. The listening, remember, it's listening and not hearing. Hearing is just everything goes in from here, comes out from here. Alright? That's hearing. But listening, you go in, you process, think, and then only then you react. There's a reaction going out. Alright, now, first of all, receive. Receive what the person is saying. Wait for the person to finish first. Only then you start understanding. Not receive and immediately feedback. Right? First of all, understand why your mom scolded you. Second of all, remember what did the person say. Instead of saying, hey, what did you say just now? I wasn't paying attention. Okay? Then evaluate. Then stage 5 is feedback. Alright, so there's stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, whereby there's different stages. Most often time when listening is not good because we skip stages. From primary 1, we straight away jump to primary 5. Of course, there are some things you cannot do because you're not capable, right? So these steps are super important if you want to be an effective listener. Receive, understand, remember, evaluate, only then wait to your favorite part, feedback. Alright? Now, listening versus hearing. Like I said just now, there's a lot of difference between listening and hearing. So the first thing is listening and hearing are often used interchangeably but not similar. In different occasions we listen. In other occasions we hear. Alright? Now, listening is an active process while hearing is a passive one. What do I mean by active? Active means you're actually processing. When your mom nags you, oh, why you don't clean the dishes? Why is your room so messy? You just let it be. The second day, your room is still messy. Hearing. You're being passive. You're not doing anything about it. While listening, why is the room so messy? Yeah, my room is messy. I should do something about it. Or later there'll be rats running around in my room. That is an active process because you're thinking about it. Right? Now, hearing is a physical act. Just using your ears only, anyone can hear without putting any effort. For example, here in car honk, children playing, making noises. For example, right now you could be just hearing what I'm saying, okay? Because you know my lecturer asked me to watch a video. But when you are actually listening, you know what I'm saying. You know the content of my message. Hearing is merely a vibration, sound in your eardrum. So in terms of the physical way to explain it, your ears are just hearing sounds and vibrate. That's it. Okay? While followed by electrochemical response. Now, while listening requires voluntary participation. I'm not forcing you. You want to participate. You want to get attention, and you are decoding the information. You are trying to process. Why does Miss Esther say the things? Why does my mom say the things that she said? Right? So that is you decoding, trying to understand. Moving on. Now, this is active listening. When I say active and passive, passive is just letting the thing pass through your ear. While active listening, number 1, pay attention. We cannot stress this, enough. Whereby I'm sure from kindergarten until Form 6 or Form 5, your headmaster will say, "Jangan bising, keep quiet." Why? Because they want you to pay attention. Right? Look at who is talking. Now, active listening also means giving them eye contact. Instead, just listen to my mom nagging or just scribbling on a piece of paper. Look at who is talking and don't talk. It's so simple, so basic, but we can't do it, right? And visualize. Visualize what is being said. When the person talks about a certain thing, visualize. Follow directions. For example, the recent pandemic, right? When the Prime Minister of Malaysia said, "Stay at home." Some people cannot imagine what stay at home means. Stay at home means just wandering out. Stay at home means stay at home. Follow directions. When the Prime Minister says stay at home, we don't follow, we just go around here and there. Ask questions. Why do you have to stay at home? What is the importance of staying at home? So that will help you to become an active listener and a good communicator. Alright, now, These are the signs of active listening. How do I know you as a student, you are active listening? Right now, I can't see you, but if you are a presenter, you see your audience, you say, hey, I think they're not listening to me. How do you know? Number one, they are smiling. They are smiling at you. They give you eye contact. They are looking at you. Okay, they are saying that, okay, they are not like, you know that when a person does this, they are very bored, right? Lean forward. When you go to interviews, you know that this employee or this person is interested when they lean forward, or employer is interested to listen to you when they lean forward, right? So when you go on dates, if you go out with a guy, the guy is like this. I really like to play this. You know that he's not interested. You know that it's not active listening. Mirroring facial expressions. Whatever you say, you also like, that is mirroring, expressions. Minimal or no fidgeting. You don't see people doing this. You don't see people doing this. You don't see people doing this. Fidgeting shows a sign of restlessness. I can't wait for this to over, which is passive listening. You know that somebody is paying attention when they ignore the clock or the watch. You don't see them doing this. That is active listening if you don't. So you should not be looking at your watch if you want to show attention. Okay? You're going out on a date with somebody. Don't just look at your watch. Okay? They'll blow people off. Okay. Types of listening skills. One is attentive. One is reflective. So there's two types. Number one, attentive. Attentive, again, like what I explained just now, eye contact is super important. Good posture, nodding, when your lecturer is explaining something, nod. When your girlfriend is telling you something, nod. Okay? Mirroring speaker's body language to show interest. Okay? Allow speaker to complete entire thoughts. It's very important for you to let people finish first before you say something. Right? What about reflection? Now, what is attentive? You are curious of what other people are saying to you. Another is reflection. You are thinking of what they are saying. Number one, you're repeating and paraphrasing what the speaker has said to you to show that you truly care. For example, right now, I might tell you, if I'm a friend, I'll say, you know what, Anita, I feel really sad. I don't know why I'm feeling this, but during the movement control order, I stay at home, I feel depressed. So if Anita is listening to me attentively, so she would say, so you're trying to say that when you're at your house, when you're lying down, you feel like, you're aimless, is it? And I said, yeah, that's right, true. So that is called reflective listening. You're trying to say this. You are repeating whatever I said or your friend said, and you're just telling them, is this how you feel? Instead of you jumping to conclusion, I sad for what? You see so many people outside, they're also suffering. Why are you sad? That is jumping to conclusion immediately, and that shows that you are not a very good listener. Next time people won't tell you things, right? Okay, so that is reflection and attentive. That's a difference. Why do some people have a lot of friends and while some people they don't? Because of these differences. Now moving on. Types of listening. Again, active listening, what we have said just now, critical listening, and content listening. I've explained this, so let's move on to this. Critical listening. Critical listening means you are analyzing, you're constantly thinking, should I believe this? For example, let's say they say coronavirus comes from 5G, the 5G internet network. So when you are listening to this, you're should I believe this? Does internet connection 5G actually impact a person's health? Right? And you're separating personal opinion and from facts. You don't mix on your personal agenda. And answer is what he say credible? Can I believe what he's saying? Or I believe him because he's my friend, right? So those are what we say personal opinion from facts. While contact listening is what you are doing right now. I'm speaking to you from a screen, so that requires minimum participation. Even if you say something, I cannot see it. Okay, so that is you listening to content, mainly used when a task is asked from you and you only remember the key points. Okay, probably this is like 70 to 25% that you're going to remember. Okay, 3 types. Now we move on to gender and listening. When we talk about boys and girls, females, males, there's scientific research has actually shown that males and females, we listen in a very different way. Now this is a female listening skills. So when this guy is speaking, this girl with the red hair is saying that, okay, tone, how does my boyfriend talk to me, okay? He's using a very sad tone, point of view. Is there a double meaning? When your boyfriend texts you, okay, what does it mean? Or what does it mean? What are the hidden messages? What is the innuendo? Well, when a guy listens to you, this girl is talking a lot of stuff and this guy is thinking about something, pepperoni. So there's a difference between a woman and a man. When we process information, it's different. That's why women tend to think more. When your boyfriend or friend, your friend or girlfriend or a girl that you like texted you an emoji like this. So what does it mean? She likes me, or he likes me, or this. When somebody texted you this, what does it mean? Oh shit, okay, he's not interested, right? So that is how we evaluate. But boys, we don't really think of that. Okay means okay. I'm fine means I'm fine. There's nothing else behind it. Okay. Now this is between a guy, two guys. When they talk, it's just eye contact. But when two women or two ladies talk, we'll look at the entire body, the clothes, the hair, the pants, everything that we will consider. That is the difference. That is how we are created. That is how we are made. Now, is there wrong? Not necessarily. Okay, but we can improve. Now, men, when men talk, they tend to interrupt more. They change topics more. And they depend on the interest, they mainly focus or they ignore the speaker. It's more self-centered, I want to talk about footballers. I want to talk about how many footballers I like. Regardless whether you're interested or not, I will just tell you. Right? The goal is to be respected. I want people to hear what I have to say. While women, we build more rapport. Right? We have more listening cues, we do this. So let's say, for example, right now, let's say Anita and I always say, hey, you know what? That girl, right? Say, what? Yes, what? Tell me. We will have more listening cues. We will have more eye contact. We will be like, that girl. Or the goal is to be like and maintain harmony. So when you see girls always sit together, we start gossiping, we talk about people. Why? Because it's a bonding time for us. We are sharing our feelings. While men, they don't do this. You rarely see men gossiping. They talk about something else, games, whatever. Alright? So that is the main difference between gender. Girls will like to bond, while boys, they just talk, finish their stuff, that's it. Okay? Now, barriers. When two genders start talking, there are barriers. Now, we need to recognize these barriers. Number one, when we are listening, what causes us to be unable to focus? What makes us, to incline to just hearing? First of all, psychological barriers. What are psychological barriers? You have hearing issues. Okay, it can be physical. Maybe your hearing is not very good, right? So those are the things, psychological barriers. For example, I'm telling somebody, you are gorgeous. You are not ugly. You're beautiful. See, I'm so fat. It's just squeezing your fat here and there, right? So because of a self-esteem, psychological, mentally, you have low self-esteem. So no matter how many times I tell you are good, you say, no, you're just kidding, you're just being nice to me. That is psychological, okay? Second of all, environmental. For example, construction is going on, or there's dogs barking, right? That can be an environmental barrier. But this one, it's easy to fix. All you need to do is just to go to a quiet place, right? That is why when you go to nightclubs and bars, it's not a very ideal place to, pour out your feelings. It's not a very ideal place. People just hook up most of the time in bars because, no listening or hearing is required. If people would know, oh, she's such a talker, people probably won't be interested. Okay, cultural barriers is also one. Accent. Your accent is different. You can't really understand what you're saying, right? So those are one of the delivery. The speech is too fast. Sometimes people have a very heavy British accent, or Indian accent, or Chinese accent, or any accent at all. Number 4, prejudice. Prejudice is also one of the main factors that cause us to shut down completely when we're listening to somebody. Let's say somebody is dressed right now, coronavirus, right? So let's say if you're not a Chinese and you go to somebody else and you say, oh, you brought coronavirus to us. Let's say there's a barrier, there's a prejudice going on. Whatever they say, you do not want to listen. Okay, so you can see a lot of racism happening in the Western countries because some people are fed with false information that coronavirus came from Chinese. As long as you look like Chinese or you're Asian, look like a Chinese, you can be a Japanese, but they will think that you brought the virus. So whatever you have to say is not credible at all. Racism. Okay? Preoccupation or distractions, maybe your friend is pouring out, her stories, her sad stories to you, and you are just busy texting somebody else. Preoccupation, you're too busy. That causes you to be unable to focus, right? Or one of the favorite things we like to do, jumping to conclusions. Before you say something, I know, I knew it, you're like this. Before the person finished saying anything, you already jump to conclusions. Okay, so that causes you to be unable to properly listen to someone and understand. Let's say your mom scolds you, why you haven't cleaned up? You see, my mother always like that. So jumping to conclusion. So these are the barriers that causes you or us to be unable to listen properly. Psychological barriers, environmental barriers, cultural barriers, prejudice, stereotypes, racism, preoccupation, you're distracted, and jumping to conclusions, being very judgmental. And yeah, those are Chinese. Chinese are stingy, for example. Alright? Now this is a map of how active listening should go. Again, we cannot stress how important it is for you to actively listen. Okay? We have the first part, paying attention. Second part, show that you're listening. Third part, provide feedback. Fourth, defer judgment. Fifth, respond appropriately. And that is how you become an active and a good listener. Okay? So you can look at the slides when you are free. Now to sum up, active listening is effective listening. Okay? An active listener concentrates and engages mentally and emotionally with the speaker. If you say, man, I need more friends. I need to have more friends in my life. I need people who understand me. Why are there no one listening to me? So for you to have more friends, the first step is to be a better listener. For you to be a better son, a better daughter, the first step is listen, active listening. Listen, evaluate before you respond. Most of the time, we listen to respond. We should listen to understand. We should not listen immediately. I want to say, I should have said this just now. If you have that mindset, that means you're listening just for responding and you're not trying to listen to understand. For us, in fact, all of us to be a better person, we must listen to understand. And that will make us a better individual, a better presenter, and a better friend. Alright, so I hope that you have understand this lecture, and I hope that you stay throughout until this end. Any questions, feel free to email your lectures. Thank you very much.